Hey guys, so this is part two of dealing with holidays and recovery. So, just to recap, the first thing I talked about was being in a funk is normal during the holidays for lots of different reasons. It can elicit a lot of different emotions. So, if you're in a funk, don't worry about it. It's normal, just do something to get out of it. The second thing I said is make sure to talk to safe people who support your recovery, who care about you and that you care about on holidays. The third thing I said is if you belong to a support group, it's a good idea to find a meeting on these days. So make sure you hit a meeting if you are in some kind of support group because holidays tend to be tough and it's nice to share those feelings, those concerns, those emotions that come up with other people and know that you're not alone and also support each other through this. The fourth thing I said is make sure your boundaries are airtight on holidays. So make sure you've established your boundaries. If it's you can't drink or use, you can't be around it, nobody offers you something, whatever your boundaries are, make sure you've established them and then make sure that your friends and family know what those boundaries are. The next thing I want to say is addiction doesn't take a day off. And the reason I say that is make sure that you're if you've made this commitment to not drink or use, don't give in because it's a holiday and don't let others talk you into it because it's a holiday. It's very easy to relapse on holidays because of these negative feelings, the desire to celebrate, this idea that, oh, it's a different day, it's a special day, as if your addiction is going to take a day off. And it just doesn't work like that. Your addiction doesn't give a fuck that it's a holiday. You're just being real. The brain does not care. The brain doesn't even care. Just to kind of reiterate this point, the brain doesn't even care if you're using a substance for a good reason. And what I mean by that is, for instance, if I have surgery and I need pain medication, well, my brain doesn't give a shit that I need it. It can reactivate that addiction. I'm not saying you can't ever use it, but you just got to be fucking careful. So my point being, just because it's a holiday, it's a quote unquote special day, that doesn't mean that your addiction is not going to be active on that day and can't be reignited on that day. So don't give in because it's a holiday. Think about what, if you have cravings during these times, think about what all is at stake if you give in to the craving. There's a saying in 12 step recovery that you play the tape through. So don't stop it. What tends to happen is we think about the craving, we think about how good it's going to feel, we think about, oh, it's a holiday, I'm celebrating whatever, then the other. What we don't think about is the consequences that are going to come as a result of that one drink or drug use, right? Because what happens a lot of the times is it just sets off the addiction again. You think about all the consequences that could result at from that one drink, even if you think it's just going to be one, what could happen. So think what all is at stake if you give in to that craving, right? The next thing is make sure you have an exit plan if you need to leave. If you're at some kind of family function and there's a lot of drinking or people smoking weed or whatever, you might get uncomfortable. Make sure you have an exit plan. You said this before, make sure you have an exit plan for different situations that can be high risk situations. This fucking applies to family events, unfortunately. Sometimes it well-meaning people can we can still be triggered during good situations, if that makes sense. Like family functions, typically good, well, sometimes, Thanksgiving always isn't a good family situation, but even if people are well-meaning, it's a good family event, we can still get triggered. And the thing is you still need to make sure that you are safe. And people who care about you, respect your recovery, are going to respect if you need to leave because you're too triggered. And if there's a saying of you can't save your face and your ass at the same time. Okay, so even if there is some embarrassment that you had to leave, look, if you're saving your ass, then it's worth it. And then the final thing, back to the exit plan, guys, the ways to do this: drive yourself if you can. If you can't, have someone who can take you. who can leave with you, or make sure you can call an Uber or whatever. Make sure you can get out of there if you need to. Be safe. A relapse is not worth it. And then the last thing, guys, I would say is all these negative emotions can be elicited during holidays. So practice gratitude during these times. Focus on what you have and what lies ahead of you instead of focusing on the fact that you can't drink, or you feel alienated, or you feel left out, or whatever. Focus on the things that are positive. You have a second chance at life. You have this opportunity to live sober and rebuild your life. You didn't die from your addiction. That may sound drastic, but it's fucking real. So focus on what you do have, things that you have to be grateful for. It's Thanksgiving, for God's sake, right? So focus on the things that you have to be grateful for. Guys, I appreciate it. Please stay safe during this holiday season. Please utilize the support available to you, and just keep working on your recovery. Appreciate it, guys. Take care.